Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Simon and I'm delighted today to be joined by Anton the Hun Hur. We are in London. We've just done an event at Foyles. Can you tell we're in London? It looks really London. And we're going to have a bit of a chat about Toward Eternity. And so far I'm worried because Anton, you've not said anything.
Oh yeah, I should say something. Hello, I am Anton Hun.
I love
according to him.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, or Anton Hur, according to
Nathan.
Scotland people. Oh,
and Nathan. Yeah. Also, actually, in honour of Nathan, I'm going to do. He hates this apparently, where you reveal a book
and
like that. What are your thoughts on that?
It is kind of annoying when you see it on TikTok and no, because I want to scroll past it if it's a book that I'm interested in. Then I want to see it. But if it's not, then it's like, oh, I waited. What is it, like 3 seconds for nothing? So.
See, I've started doing it on Instagram, and I don't turn it for 10 to 15 seconds.
Oh wow, yeah, no,
don't
do it.
No,
yeah.
I've got to stop doing it. Anyway, You all want to be reading this. I've spoken about this on the channel already. It is Anton's debut novel. First question before we talk about the book: how surreal is it to have a book out there in the world? Is it an out of the world experience like this book is?
I mean, at first it was at first I thought it's just going to be like publishing any other of my translations. But then now I'm kind of embarrassed, just sheepish that I have a book out. So I want to really promote it and be all of that. But at the same time, I'm like, oh God, I can't believe people are reading this book now. So there's that. It feels a little weird, but I just have to get over it.
You do, because it's a corker and lots of people need to be reading this book. It's a very difficult book to pitch easily. Can you do it right now?
Toward Eternity is about a cancer therapy that ends up destroying the world. It is also about the power of love and how love outlasts everything, even humanity.
That was amazing. It's almost like you wrote it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a translator, so I have to summarize books all the time.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now, you told me earlier, and an audience of a lot of people, that you came up with this idea when you were in the shower 10 years ago. Talk us through how getting into the shower makes you think of the end of humanity.
So I don't know, I guess those are normal shower thoughts. I think there's a TikTok trend or something where kids just go without their phones for 5 hours and then just read a book. It's a great trend. I think apparently we are so overstimulated because of our phones and because of social media and whatnot, that it's just so easy to be stimulated now that people kind of have lost the faculty to just be alone with their thoughts. And for some people that's a very horrifying prospect. And I think the shower is one of the last places where you can really be alone with your thoughts. Although now that iPhones are waterproof.
That's true.
Yeah, you just put on a podcast. And
although I would not take my iPhone into the shower.
Oh, I do all the time.
Oh, interesting. Anyway, so
yeah.
The end of humanity.
I take you into the shower. I put on you on YouTube, and then I just prop it up on the shampoo bottle, and I'm just
Anton.
Simon. Yeah, but it's
well, every time I film from now on, that's going to be in my mind.
Yes.
This will be played in Anton's shower. But going back to that shower 10 years ago,
yes.
What was it that made you go, hang on a minute, end of humanity?
Yeah, I mean, it's a shower thought, what if we, I was oh, you can upload a human mind into a machine by replacing every single cell in your brain with a nanite, with a nanotechnological replica. And you can do it cell by cell so that the patient doesn't die. And this would solve the mind uploading problem, which is a very classical problem in science fiction where you can't really upload your mind into a machine without basically killing the original human being. So I was oh, I solved the problem. Then I thought, well, what would that be like? To live forever, to go in for some kind of cancer therapy where you went for to replace your cancer cells with nanites and then you ended up living forever. Like, why would anyone do that? Like, wouldn't you rather die? But I thought, well, if it meant I could live for a few more years with the people I love, then it would be worth it. It would be worth the hell of immortality. So that's where the book began.
And it's such a... I found this book devastating at the beginning and really upsetting, and you write about grief beautifully. It's beautifully depressing. We've talked about this. And then it goes to kind of this amazing horror, because we should say that to start off we meet patient one. I'm not going to give anything away about patient 0, who agrees to it because, well, talk about how that, because that's about the grief and loss of this man's husband, and how that makes him do all of this. And you were saying that you were writing about yours, obviously, but him not being dead.
Yes. I mean, no, my husband is not dead. I don't know. I felt like I tried to think of a scenario in which it would make sense for this character to do this, to want to live forever. Like you know, as we said in our event, like I do not want to live forever, and most sensible people I know do not want to live forever.
Do you know what? Though Death Becomes Her made it look so good.
No, it made it look so
until
terrible.
The very end.
Yeah. Do you remember where we parked the car? Yeah. Exactly. Like, you know, that's what most sensible people think of when they think of living forever. So, but I thought, like, what would justify Death Becomes Her? And that's like, if you love someone so much. Yeah. So.
And patient 1 has vanished, which is such a gripping way, because instantly I was like, there's a mystery here. I'm intrigued straight away. And then the kind of only witness-ish, and it is an ish to that, is this incredible AI machine that is working with poetry. And I love that you chose to have an AI machine working with Victorian poetry. Why was that?
It was just a separate idea that I had, that if you wanted to train an AI to really be human, they had to appreciate poetry. Like, we have AI that can write poetry now, but we don't really have AI that can appreciate poetry. So I thought, I don't know. So I had this thought entirely separately from my shower thought, and I just like needed to move the plot along. So like, what would be a cute thing to put in here? And I was like, oh, that AI thing that I thought. And then I didn't know how these two ideas would combine. Like, I had no plan. And then they just very naturally did as I wrote the book, which is, I don't know, the miracle of literature.
But that happened a bit as well, didn't it? Because you set the book here initially in South Africa, and then you found out a really interesting fact about South Africa that then I read. Please tell everyone what that fact is.
Oh, so like, I was watching Mad Men, and while I was writing this book, in Mad Men, they mentioned that the first, successful heart transplant was conducted in South Africa. So I was like, oh, like, that's interesting. Transplant, transition, and then I transitioned. So I thought, yeah, it's fate. And also the fact that like South Africa's kind of like, future South Africa is depicted as kind of like utopian state. And for Koreans, because we live in a divided nation, we live in a two-state solution under perpetual ceasefire. Whereas South Africa did not go through that civil war process, thanks to, like, they had good leadership, and they had, you know, a populace that was committed to living together and working together. I know they have their problems, but from a Korean's perspective, it's like South Africa is like this almost miraculous how they managed to keep their country together, because we did not manage to keep our country together. So I wanted to bring out those, like, the kind of like Korean perspective, utopian like vision of this country that did not divide itself into two states or more than two states, and did not go into civil war, unlike us. And yeah, so I wanted to bring out those, like, I would keep, like, I would think that I put things together mindlessly, but then I would like keep excavating these like connections that I hadn't intended. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess my subconscious on some level thought this. And so I would then bring it out in the text. Yeah.
That's amazing how your subconscious is also doing the writing with you
at
the same time.
It's actually doing the writing, period. Yeah, like my conscious is doing a little bit of the editing, but that's about it.
And then we also meet patient 2, Ellen, and that introduces this musical element, and the book really celebrates culture and arts and the importance of them alongside tech. It's not necessarily, well, it sort of is a battle, but it also isn't a battle at the same time. And that's where the book got really spooky for me. Like, it feels like a horror because Ellen suddenly sees another Ellen. Where did that idea come from? And also, without giving any spoilers, the terror of a swarm of Ellens. Like, that's all so horror.
Yeah. So I believe I got the idea from this very seminal Victorian critical text called "The Mad Woman in the Attic." Oh God, I'm just so tired that I cannot remember the authors. There are two authors. Yeah.
And when he
There are
says
two
tired,
authors.
he means tired of me.
No.
I'm joking.
I can never be tired of you.
Joking. I'd love it if you just went, actually, you know what I am. And I can go now. Thanks.
No. So Mad Woman in the Attic, and it kind of talks about, it's a very thick book about Victorian poetry, and it talks about how these doubles in Victorian poetry and how if in a Victorian novel, like one character like meets its twin or its double, like one of them has to die. It's like Highlander rules, like only one, there can only be one. And I just thought that would be really funny if we took this literary conceit to like in a literal way. And so with science fiction, you can take things to its natural conclusion. You can like take things literally, and so I thought that would be really funny and uncanny. And also I was kind of like, I just came out of this like sad melodrama, like let's switch it up a little, let's like have a little fun.
Give them some horror. And I love the fact that the book has loads of different genres within it, and it celebrates language and words, and I just loved it. I really, really, really loved it. How do you go about fitting all of that into this? I'm doing Nathan's favourite thing. And how do you also fit the end of humanity into that and eternity? Like, that's, when you say it like that, do you think, how did I do that?
I mean, like Emily Dickinson fits in entire universes into like 4 stanza poems. True. Yeah, so I think it's
So really what you're saying is this is lazy?
Yes, it's very indulgent. This title is from Emily Dickinson, by the way. Initially, this book was 70,000 words because...
Sorry, the lights dimmed and I was like, we're having this sci-fi moment.
Yeah.
It's the end of humanity.
And like my editor, Tara Parsons at Harvard Via, I love you. Like she had all of these suggestions to like take things out because she was like, well, it has so much great emotion. You really don't need all of these actiony bits. And then I listened to her and I was like, yeah, it really doesn't. And I love taking like a sledgehammer to the book. Because,
really?
Yeah, because like I don't get to do that as a translator. Like I have I can't do structural edits really. I mean sometimes I do, but I can't really do structural edits.
Secretly, I just kill a paragraph.
Yes. I'll never say where or which book.
Have you ever done more than a paragraph? Have you ever done a page?
If I have to do that much, then
Chapter?
I try to get commission. Chapter? No, because I'm trying to think, because like for a short story collection, like I'm going to take out this story and put in this one. Like, have I ever done? Like, I think other people have done that. I don't think I've done that. But you can make quite dramatic changes. But for this, like, the amount of changes that I did for this book, like, I had so much fun, like destroying. There's a scene where there's a child like destroying a sandcastle, like, and they're having so much fun. Like, that was me. Yeah. And that's the part about writing that I like the most compared to translation. I could just like take things out and I could just like make things up. That was really, really fun to do.
Okay, so going from this to translation, and obviously you are a translator extraordinaire.
Cool.
How many books is it now?
I
was going to say published or unpublished because you've got more coming.
Yeah, I've got at least 15, I want to say, coming.
15?
Yeah, around 15, 14, 13, 14 or 15.
By when?
Yeah, by 2027, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how many so far?
Like on my website, I counted today for some reason that I can't understand. I think like by this year I'll have 20.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And 2 were on the Booker long list
At the same time.
at the same time, international long list, and you're now judging
Yes.
the
I'm
Booker.
judging the Booker. Yes.
How is that switch?
Oh, it's great. I don't know. I owe this prize so much. I didn't even win. Yeah, but I still owe this prize so much because it really just like it just strapped like rockets onto my shoes and it just like blasted me like up into the stratosphere because, and again, I didn't even win. Like I didn't need to win because I A, was double longlisted, and B, like I knew that I'm never going to be on the stage again, so I just have to squeeze every single moment, like, and I just have to enjoy it as well. And people were like, whenever I had to do like the Booker related events, like when we did the South Bank Center, like everyone was like coming on stage and I was the only one who was going like and like everyone was like waving back at me because I was just so happy to be there. And yeah, I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this, like, you know, I'm gonna tell my grandchildren about this moment. And, you know, so I just had so much fun doing that. And I think, so judging, like, I just take so seriously because, like, I know that this can, like, just make or break someone. And yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to, like, all the books, like, that my colleagues have produced, like, because, like, there's so much talent, translation talent that exists right now. And there are books that I'm really, really excited about and that I really want to put in front of readers. Like, it is a powerful, powerful amplification tool, what the Booker Prize is. Like, it's not about the money so much or like, you know, winning an award. It's about highlighting translated literature and like giving it the attention, giving it some glamour, and like having people excited about books. And I took that very, very seriously. I'm very, very grateful for that. And, you know, I hope to be a good judge, an impartial and like hype man for literature and translation.
And you get to hang out with Beth Orton.
Do you mean my best friend, Beth Orton?
Yes, yes. Your close personal best friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was so shocked. Because, you know, if you're a 90s kid like I am, like, you know, Beth Orton is like, yeah.
I would love, as it is Women in Translation Month, what are your current top, like, 5 Women in Translation recommendations? You can include books you translated yourself.
Oh my god, so this is a little tricky because, like, I'm not allowed to, like, promote books that are like
eligible.
Eligible.
Okay.
I think, yeah. So
are books that you've translated allowed to be eligible if you're a judge?
No.
Okay.
You're disqualified.
Okay.
Rightfully so.
Sorry to everyone.
Yeah. Sorry, Kyung-Sook Shin. Yeah, like Bora Chung. Bora Chung's like, yay, because she hates, you know, awards.
Although Bora Chung is very excitingly
translating this book into Korean.
That's amazing. That got the cutest R from the audience at our event. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
So, okay, books that aren't eligible for the Booker.
So, Miri is the end of August. This was eligible last year, and I was shocked when it was longlisted. I mean, I respect this year's jury, but I really feel like it's like one of the best just books in translation period that I've ever read. So I feel like, yeah, more people should read that. Miri's End of August, translated by Morgan Giles. And I'm Waiting for You by Kim Boyoung, translated by Sophie, Bowman, and Sung-Yu. Now, I think this book came out like in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like everyone slept on it. So whenever I have a chance to mention it, I always mention it. This is a really moving science fiction work about a couple that is separated because of like relativity, basically. Like they're trying to get together to get married, but like there's some accident, like their spaceship is like called somewhere else, and then they try to meet. Like it's very like two lovers who just cannot get to the same point in the universe. They keep missing each other.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I believe is an allegory for the separation of North and South Korea, and how the separation was only supposed to be temporary, like very brief, but now it's like 70 plus years.
I'm gonna read that now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. So that one.
You are literally waiting for me to read it.
Yes, I am. Yeah. Like I hope it has a revival.
3.
3. Everyone always asks me like, what is the one Korean book that you always recommend? And that's Kyung-Sook Shin's The Girl Who Wrote Loneliness, translated by Han In-jung. Kyung-Sook is my author now. I translate her now, but I love this book. This book is autofiction. It's about a young girl, like she's like I believe 15 years old, who comes up to Seoul from the country. This is back when Korea was like a developing nation, and she works as a factory girl by day, and then goes to night high school by night, and she witnesses Korean industrialization, the labor movement and the pro-democracy movement, like all of that, and she becomes a famous writer.
Yeah, we're in a hotel we mentioned.
Yeah.
We're in a co-working space.
Yeah.
Co-working space.
So the girl who wrote Loneliness, most important Korean work in the post-war era. Number 4, let's do. This is gonna be so terrible because I'm so tired and I do not remember the translator. Sayaka Murata's Life Ceremony. Do you recall who the translator is? He'll put it in.
I will.
Yeah.
Sorry. And hopefully it will be one of the. And I'm a big campaigner for this, and I know you are too. Hopefully the cover that I answer will have the translator on the cover.
Yes.
Because it's ridiculous when it doesn't.
I know.
Because not only I think a translation is almost a co-writing. Mm-hmm. And I think, anyway, that was that. But you were saying, Life Ceremony.
I love that book. It is so good.
Okay.
Grotesque, of course, but also really, really hilarious and just really, really good.
And it's short stories, isn't it?
Yeah, it's short stories, and they're all excellent. There isn't a clunker.
I have that on the shelves. I might read that next.
Yeah. It's a little gross, but
I might let Anton dictate my reading for a while. Maybe the rest of Women in Translation Month. 5th.
Chinatown by Thuan, translated by An Ly. That was one of the best books I read. That was of that year. God, when did that come out? Was it last year? What time has no meaning anymore? Or 2 years ago? Yeah. But so this is basically a stream of consciousness narrative, and I just devoured it from beginning to end. Just the voice was so delectable. Yeah, and
that's a great word.
Interior. Yeah, I feel a lot of Asian literature and translation is, I don't know, how do I say this? People expect us to write a certain kind of book.
Right.
Yeah, but this book is so experimental and fresh.
So that's 5 recommendations for me, for all of you. Get reading. Anton, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And hopefully next time we can try and do a video in South Korea. Not in your shower, even though now that's what everyone's going to be wanting, frankly.
Aww.
Comment down below if that's a future video you'd like. But honestly, it's been a joy, and I also want to thank you because not only do you translate fabulous books fabulously, and you've written an absolute banger here, honestly, the joy you bring on your social media is just a delight, and I'm really excited to see what your long list is going to be for the Book International. And I'm really excited for what your next book's going to be, No Pressure. So when's that due?
I think that will be done by summer 2026 or winter 2026. Yeah.
So we might see it in 2027.
Oh, the Anglosphere, it takes forever. So you'll probably see it 2028. Oh God, that sounds so far away.
That's almost toward eternity. Do you see what I did there? Good job. But thank you so much. It's been a real treat. We'll make sure we're back in Korea at some point.
Yeah.
If not, I'll hijack Anton when he's back in the UK. As always, lovely to have a chat with you about the books down below, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Bye.
Bye, everyone.